There are moments when life becomes strangely quiet around you. Not peaceful, just quiet. Conversations fade. Invitations stop coming. Paths that once felt open now feel closed without explanation. You didn't do anything wrong, yet it feels like something is being taken away. In those moments, it's easy to believe you're losing ground, falling behind, or being forgotten. But Scripture tells a very different story. Sometimes when God is preparing to elevate you, He first sets you apart. You may feel misunderstood right now. You may feel like you no longer fit where you once belonged. The things that used to satisfy you don't hold the same power, and the direction everyone else is running in no longer feels right for you. This is not confusion. This is transition. God does not elevate people by accident. He prepares them intentionally, and preparation almost always begins with separation. There is a divine pattern throughout the Bible. Before God lifts someone publicly, He works on them privately. Before promotion, there is pruning. Before influence, there is isolation. Before authority, there is obedience when no one is watching. When God sets you apart, He is not punishing you. He is positioning you. Right now, it may feel like you're standing still while others move ahead. But heaven does not measure progress the way the world does. What looks like delay on the outside is often development on the inside. God is working beneath the surface, strengthening your character, sharpening your discernment, and removing dependencies that would not survive where He is taking you. Being set apart is uncomfortable because it exposes what you relied on that was never meant to sustain you. Familiar support systems fade. Old identities begin to crumble. You start to realize that what carried you before cannot carry you into what's next. And that realization hurts. But it is also holy. God is teaching you to lean on Him in ways you never had to before. You may be questioning why certain doors closed without warning, why relationships shifted, why opportunities disappeared just as you were getting comfortable. But elevation requires space. God cannot place new weight on old foundations. He separates you so He can rebuild you without interference, without pressure to perform, without voices that confuse His direction. If you're feeling stretched, refined, and exposed all at once, it's because elevation is closer than you think. God often tightens the process right before the breakthrough. He narrows your circle so your focus becomes clearer. He quiets your environment so you can hear Him again. He removes distractions not to deprive you, but to prepare you. This season is not meant to break you, it is meant to strengthen you. You are not being sidelined, you are being trained. You are not being overlooked, you are being set apart. And when God sets someone apart, it is always because He has something higher in mind. Separation is not rejection, it is preparation. When God begins to set you apart, the first emotion that often surfaces is confusion. You replay conversations in your mind, wondering if you misstepped. You examine your choices, searching for a mistake that explains why things suddenly feel different. But separation in God's hands is rarely a reaction to failure. More often, it is a response to readiness. Throughout Scripture, God separates before He elevates. He removes people from environments that can no longer shape them and places them into spaces that will. This is why the separation can feel abrupt. One season you are surrounded, supported, and affirmed, and the next you are standing alone with more questions than answers. That shift is not accidental. God is changing your environment because He is changing your capacity. Rejection pushes you away, preparation pulls you inward. Rejection leaves wounds, preparation builds strength. When God separates you, He is not saying you are unworthy, He is saying you are being prepared for something that requires greater clarity, deeper discipline, and stronger faith. He knows what is ahead, and He knows what must be removed before you get there. There are people, habits, and comforts that serve a purpose in one season but become limitations in the next. God's separation is often an act of mercy, even though it feels like loss. He removes what would distract you, drain you, or anchor you to a version of yourself that cannot survive elevation. If He allowed you to carry everything forward, you would collapse under the weight of what you are about to receive. This is why God rarely explains separation in advance. If you knew what was coming, you might resist the process. You might cling to what feels familiar, instead of trusting what is necessary. So God leads you one step at a time, teaching you obedience before understanding, faith before comfort. In this season, you may feel like you are standing on the outside looking in. But God often works from the inside out. While others see stillness, He sees growth. While others see absence, He sees alignment. He is refining your instincts, sharpening your discernment, and teaching you how to move without external validation. Separation also reveals truth. It shows you who you are when applause disappears, when support thins, when no one is watching. Elevation requires integrity that does not depend on recognition. God is preparing you to stand firmly in who He called you to be, not in who others expected you to remain. So if you feel set apart right now, do not rush to reattach yourself to what God is gently removing. Resist the urge to chase familiarity. Trust the process, even when it feels lonely. Separation is not the end of connection. It is the beginning of transformation. And transformation is always the doorway to elevation. The loneliness you feel is proof. God is working privately. There is a specific kind of loneliness that does not come from being unloved, but from being led somewhere others cannot follow. This is the loneliness many people experience when God is setting them apart. You can be surrounded by people and still feel alone. Conversations feel shallow. Connections feel strained. It's not that you think you're better than anyone. It's that your spirit is being tuned to a different frequency. God does some of His most important work in private. He speaks most clearly when the noise dies down. And often, the only way to quiet the noise is to remove you from environments that constantly demand your attention, your approval, or your performance. Isolation is not God turning away from you. It is God drawing you closer without distraction. In Scripture, the wilderness was never a punishment. It was a classroom. It was where identities were stripped down and rebuilt, where dependence shifted from people to God, where voices were filtered until only one remained. When God isolates someone, He is not trying to make them lonely. He is trying to make them whole. This kind of loneliness exposes what you leaned on that was never meant to be permanent. It reveals where your confidence came from, where your validation lived, and what you feared losing most. And while that exposure is uncomfortable, it is also necessary. Elevation requires inner stability. God cannot place you higher if your foundation is still dependent on external support. You may notice that during this season you pray differently, not louder, deeper. Your conversations with God become more honest, more raw. You stop performing spirituality and start seeking truth. That shift matters. God is forming intimacy with you that will sustain you when responsibility increases and visibility expands. Private seasons also protect you. Not everyone needs access to the version of you that is still being shaped. God hides His work before He reveals it. He shields you from comparison, competition, and premature exposure. What grows in private develops roots. What grows only in public remains fragile. If this loneliness feels heavy, remember that it is temporary and intentional. God is not building distance for distance's sake. He is building depth. When the season shifts, you will carry clarity instead of confusion, strength instead of insecurity, and confidence that does not depend on crowd approval. You are not being left behind. You are being drawn inward so you can be sent forward. And when God finishes His private work, the loneliness will make sense. Not as loss, but as preparation for elevation that could not have been sustained any other way. When familiar doors close, greater doors are being aligned. There are moments when a door closes so quietly that you don't even realize it's final at first. You keep reaching for the handle, assuming it will open again, assuming things will return to how they were. But something has shifted. The access you once had is gone. The opportunity you relied on no longer responds. The place you felt secure in no longer fits. This is one of the most confusing parts of being set apart, because it feels like loss without explanation. But God does not close doors randomly. He closes them strategically. Familiar doors are often tied to familiar versions of ourselves. They represent who you were, not who you are becoming. When God is preparing to elevate you, He must interrupt patterns that would keep you comfortable but contained. What once gave you access may now limit your growth. And if God allowed those doors to remain open, you might never walk toward what He is aligning next. Closed doors are not evidence that you missed your chance. They are evidence that God is protecting you from misalignment. Some spaces were never meant to be permanent. Some roles were seasonal. Some relationships served a purpose and then reached their end. God is not cruel for closing what you loved. He is careful about where you are headed. You may feel grief over what is no longer available to you. That grief is valid. Even God-honored seasons end. Even good things can outgrow their purpose. But don't confuse the end of access with the end of calling. God often removes what you can see before He reveals what you cannot yet see. Alignment takes time. While one door is closing, another is being prepared, often in a place you haven't looked yet, through people you haven't met yet, requiring skills you are still developing. God is arranging connections, positioning resources, and shaping opportunities that match the weight of where He is taking you. This is why the transition feels unstable. You are between what was and what will be. You cannot go back, but you cannot fully step forward yet. That space is uncomfortable, but it is holy. It forces trust. It teaches patience. It stretches faith beyond logic. If you are standing in front of a closed door right now, resist the urge to force it open. What God shuts, no effort can redeem. But what God aligns, no resistance can stop. Keep walking. Keep listening. Keep trusting. Elevation rarely arrives through familiar doors. It comes through ones only God could open. The pressure you're under is shaping the weight you'll carry. Pressure is one of the clearest signs that elevation is near, even though it rarely feels that way. When God begins to prepare you for a higher level of responsibility, influence, or impact, He allows pressure to reveal what still needs strengthening inside you. Not to break you, but to build you. Not to crush you, but to shape you. Right now, it may feel like everything is demanding more from you at once. Expectations are higher. Margin feels smaller. Your patience is tested in ways it never was before. Even simple things feel heavier. This is not random stress. It is purposeful pressure. God is expanding your capacity so you can carry more without collapsing under the weight. Elevation always comes with responsibility. What God is preparing to entrust to you will require wisdom, restraint, humility, and endurance. Pressure exposes what would fail under that responsibility if left untouched. It brings to the surface habits, attitudes, and fears that cannot go with you into the next season. Pressure also refines your dependence. It shows you quickly where you are trying to rely on your own strength instead of God's. When you reach the limits of what you can manage, you are forced to lean deeper into faith. And that dependence is not weakness, it is alignment. God never elevates people who believe they can sustain the calling on their own. You may feel like the pressure is unfair, like you're being tested beyond what others experience. But different callings carry different weights. God measures pressure according to purpose, not comparison. He knows exactly what you will need to withstand where He is taking you, and He is shaping you accordingly. Pressure also teaches restraint. It trains you to respond instead of react, to think before speaking, to hold peace under tension. These are not small skills, they are essential for elevation. Visibility without maturity destroys people. Influence without self-control collapses quickly. God is protecting you by slowing the process long enough to build what must last. If you feel stretched right now, do not assume you are failing. Stretching is often proof of growth. Muscles grow under resistance. Faith deepens under tension. Character is formed under pressure. What feels uncomfortable today will become stability tomorrow. The pressure will not last forever. God never leaves His people in refining seasons longer than necessary. When the shaping is complete, the pressure lifts, and what emerges is someone stronger, steadier, and capable of carrying the weight of what God is about to release. Hidden seasons always precede visible elevation. God does some of His most important work where no one is watching. This is one of the hardest truths to accept, especially in a world that celebrates visibility, speed, and recognition. When you are hidden, it can feel like you are being overlooked or forgotten. But in the kingdom of God, hidden seasons are not delays, they are foundations. Before elevation becomes visible, roots must grow deep. What is elevated too quickly without depth will not last. God understands this, which is why he often removes applause before he releases authority. He strips away attention before he grants influence. In the quiet, he builds what noise would interrupt. Hidden seasons confront your motives. They ask difficult questions. Would you still obey if no one noticed? Would you still trust if there were no immediate results? Would you still pursue God if the reward felt far away? Elevation that lasts is born from faithfulness that does not depend on recognition. In these seasons, your work may feel insignificant, your progress may feel slow, your prayers may feel unanswered. But God is never idle in obscurity. He is teaching you consistency, humility, and perseverance. Shaping how you respond to waiting, how you handle disappointment, and how you steward responsibility when it feels small. Hidden seasons also protect you from premature exposure. Not everyone needs access to what God is developing in you. Some things must mature in silence before they can withstand scrutiny. God shields you from criticism you are not yet equipped to handle and from opportunities that would crush you if given too soon. You may look at others who seem to rise effortlessly while you remain unseen. But comparison will only distort what God is doing. Their path is not your assignment. God measures readiness, not popularity. He values longevity over speed. What he builds slowly, he builds to last. This season is not wasted. Every moment of faithfulness is being accounted for. Every unseen sacrifice is being honored. When elevation comes, it will not feel sudden to God, only to those who did not see the process. So remain faithful in the hidden place. Continue showing up. Continue obeying. Continue trusting when progress is invisible. Elevation is closer than you think, and when it arrives, it will be sustained by everything God formed in you when no one else was watching. Why the enemy is resisting you more than ever right now. Resistance often intensifies when purpose is nearing release. This is not coincidence, and it is not imagination. When God is preparing to elevate someone, the enemy becomes keenly aware that time is short. He cannot stop what God has ordained, but he will try to exhaust you, distract you, or convince you to step away before the moment arrives. This is why opposition may feel heavier now than it did before. Old temptations resurface, doubt speaks louder, fatigue settles deeper. You begin questioning things you were once confident about. The enemy's goal is not always to destroy you outright. It is to wear you down until you surrender ground voluntarily. If he can make you believe that the process isn't worth it, he doesn't need to block the promise. He just needs you to walk away. Resistance also comes in subtle forms, delays that test your patience, misunderstandings that strain relationships, distractions that pull your focus just enough to blur your vision. None of these things are random. They are attempts to keep you preoccupied with the temporary so you lose sight of the eternal. But opposition does not mean you are off course. Often, it is confirmation that you are exactly where you should be. The enemy does not fight what is insignificant. He resists what threatens his influence. The closer you get to elevation, the more clearly your life reflects God's intention, and that clarity provokes resistance. This is where discernment becomes essential. Not every battle requires a reaction. Not every voice deserves your attention. The enemy thrives on urgency and confusion. God works through peace and clarity. Learning to remain steady under pressure is part of the preparation. Elevation requires emotional maturity as much as spiritual authority. You may feel tempted to defend yourself, explain yourself, or prove yourself, but God is teaching you restraint. When he elevates you, your life will speak louder than your explanations ever could. Silence in the face of resistance is not weakness. It is confidence in who holds your future. Do not interpret resistance as a sign to retreat. Interpret it as a signal to remain grounded. Stay rooted in prayer. Stay aligned with truth. Stay obedient in small things. The enemy's resistance cannot undo God's plan. It can only reveal how close you are. This season will pass. The opposition will subside. And when elevation comes, it will become clear that what tried to stop you only strengthened your resolve. The resistance you feel now is not a warning of failure. It is a sign that breakthrough is near. Living with faith while elevation is still invisible. One of the greatest challenges in the Christian walk is learning how to live faithfully when nothing around you confirms what God has promised. This is the space where faith is no longer theoretical. It becomes practical, daily, and costly. When elevation is still invisible, obedience can feel unrewarded, and trust can feel lonely. Yet this is the exact place where God forms the kind of faith that can sustain what He is about to release. Living with faith in this season means choosing alignment over evidence. It means continuing to walk in integrity when shortcuts would be easier. It means staying consistent when motivation fades. You learn to do the right thing not because it is noticed, but because it is right. This kind of faith is quiet, steady, and deeply rooted. It does not demand immediate results. It rests in God's character rather than His timing. You may feel tempted to rush the process, to force doors open, or to seek validation just to reassure yourself that you are not wasting time. But faith teaches patience. It teaches you to trust that God sees what others do not, and that He rewards what is done in secret. Elevation that comes from God does not require self-promotion. It arrives at the appointed time, fully supported by His authority. Living by faith also means guarding your inner life. You pay attention to what you allow to shape your thoughts, your expectations, and your emotions. You resist the urge to let disappointment harden you or delay make you cynical. Instead, you choose hope. Not naive optimism, but grounded trust that God is faithful even when circumstances are silent. This season teaches you how to carry peace without clarity. You learn to move forward without knowing every step. You become comfortable trusting God one decision at a time. That trust builds spiritual resilience. It prepares you to remain steady when elevation finally arrives and the pace accelerates. Faith while elevation is invisible is not passive. It is active obedience paired with surrendered expectation. You do what God has placed in front of you today, without demanding to see tomorrow. You show up fully even when the outcome is unclear, and in doing so, you demonstrate readiness for what is next. God watches how you handle the waiting. He sees whether you grow bitter or become better, whether you withdraw or remain faithful, whether you cling to Him or chase reassurance elsewhere. These choices shape the kind of leader, servant, or influence you will be when elevation becomes visible. If you are still walking, still trusting, still obeying without applause or confirmation, you are closer than you think. Faith in the unseen is not wasted. It is the final shaping before God reveals what He has been preparing all along. Conclusion. If God is setting you apart, it is not because He is pushing you away. It is because He is drawing you upward. What feels like distance right now is actually direction. What feels like loss is alignment. And what feels like silence is often the final stage of preparation before movement begins. You were never meant to stay where you started. The discomfort you feel is not failure, it is evidence that growth is happening. God does not disrupt lives without intention. He separates to protect, to prepare, and to position. Every closed door, every quiet season, every moment of pressure has been shaping you for something greater than you could have carried before. Elevation does not arrive with noise or announcement. It often comes quietly, through opportunities that fit rather than impress, through responsibility that feels heavier but right, through clarity that replaces confusion. When it comes, you will recognize it, not because it looks dramatic, but because it feels aligned. Do not rush this season. Do not resent it, and do not misinterpret it. You are not being delayed, you are being developed. God is not withholding from you, He is building in you what will sustain what He is about to release. Stay faithful, stay grounded, stay obedient in the small things. What God has promised will come at the right time, in the right way, with the right support, and when it does, you will look back and realize that the separation, the loneliness, the pressure, and the waiting were never signs of being forgotten. They were signs that elevation was closer than you thought.